So now you're into cycling because it says rally sports bike.
Yeah, okay, well, for passing my scholarship, my granddad brought me a rally sports bike.
Ah, scholarship. So this is because
Well,
you
it's
got
what they
into
used to
grammar
call
school?
it. All right, 11 plus is
Yeah.
the more modern word, but it
Right.
was called the scholarship.
Right.
No, you don't get a scholarship like in the sense that you get a grant
Money.
or something. No, you get nothing. No,
Right.
no. For passing the 11 plus, my granddad Ballard bought me a bike.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Was he a cyclist too?
No, not at all. Just the opposite. He was a motor guy, and he couldn't. He was not an engineer or a mechanic.
Right.
He
So
was a
didn't
driver.
understand
He was a
granddad.
driver. He was a driver. Yeah.
So what was his relationship with the granddad? Because it sounds
Oh,
like
it was
they were,
okay.
They
They
were
got
kind of
on.
opposite.
No, they got on quite well. They got on. They got on okay. Yeah.
All right. So rally sports bike, 10 speed.
Yeah.
Right. Drop bars.
Yeah.
Brooks saddle.
Brand new Brooks saddle, the
Right.
full
Brand
motor.
new.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's pretty special. I
First
can
new
imagine.
bike I'd ever owned.
Right.
I'd ever had.
Right.
Yeah. £15.
Wow. All right. So I think we've talked about it a little bit, but Chiswick County Grammar School.
All right, so I go to Chiswick County Grammar School, which is where you go from 11 on, high school effectively,
Right.
okay? And boys only,
Right.
although there was a girls' school, which was, the buildings joined. You could actually walk through to the next building,
Oh, okay.
but they were totally separate schools.
Huh.
You had nothing whatsoever to do. There was never
No
anything.
shared teachers.
Nothing,
No nothing.
nothing. Totally independent, but they were sort of
Butted against each
yeah,
other.
yeah.
With a door that went from one
You
to the
could
next.
walk from one to the other, yeah, without going outside. So all right, so I went there, which entailed going by train to school.
Right.
So in those days, you've got your mates, and you all were there was the same people in the
In
same
the same
carriage.
car every time.
Yes, and we all smoked.
Right.
So,
On the train.
yes, so we all smoked Old Holborn, which is a roll your own thing.
Right.
It's, tobacco with Rizzlers. Rizzler Reds. So there was two kings, Big King, Little King, Pelton, Jeffries and me.
Right. Keith King, Roger King, Anthony Jeffries, and David Pelton.
That's right, yeah.
Right. And these were your mates.
They were my mates, and we
Right.
all travelled in the same carriage every day
Right.
to school. The
And
smokers.
They lived close by.
Yeah, they all lived in Whitton.
Right.
So
Right.
they.
So you meet at the train
Actually,
station.
no. Keith King lived in Hounslow. He'd get on at Hounslow,
Okay.
but everybody else got on at Whitton. Yeah.
And you'd meet on the platform.
Yeah. Meet on the platform, stand in the same place every day, and you knew them and
Yeah.
got in whatever the carriage
And I
was.
gather the train probably in the morning was just full of kids.
Pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a
Well,
whole pile of
yeah, because it was
different
what they
kids.
call the slow train up to London.
right.
So because it stopped at every station. So like if you were going to work in London, you'd get the fast train.
Sure.
But this was the slow train.
Right.
Yeah. And in those days, they had smokers and non-smokers
Right.
compartments.
Right.
So so we would go to school, have a fag, and get out the other end.
All right. Well, that answers the Old Holborn question.
Yes,
that was
indeed.
the brand of cigarettes you
That's right.
smoked.
That was the
Or
tobacco. That was the tobacco. Yeah.
Right. 17th Chiswick.
All right. So when I went to Chiswick, they also had a school scout troop, Sea Scouts
Oh, okay.
of all things, miles from the sea, but they were Sea Scouts.
Right.
So you wore one of those little navy hat things instead of a beret or one of those sort of scout hat
Funny
things.
flat things.
Yeah,
Oh my God. White.
white in the summer and blue, dark blue in the winter.
Okay. So you joined this crowd.
So I joined the 17th Chiswick Scout Group,
Sea Scouts. Yeah.
Sea Scouts, and I was in a patrol called the Herons.
Right.
Okay, and I was the second.
Okay.
There was the PL, the patrol leader,
Right. And
was
you were-
Johnny Baker, and I was the second. And then David Pelton
Uh-huh.
was also in my patrol in the Herons as well.
But you were sort of above him in rank.
Yes, well, there's only two. There's the sort of chief guy, which is the
And the
patrol leader,
assistant.
and the assistant. Yeah, and that was it. Yeah, and the
how many
rest.
in the group? Like 6 or 8? Or
Yeah, in the patrol, 6 or 7,
Yeah.
and we had about 6 different patrols in the scout group,
Right.
and we had a scout hut at the school.
Okay,
So-
so it's done through the school then?
Yeah. It's just,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's the
Chiswick,
scouts.
17th Chiswick, right?
Yeah, well, so yeah, and it was Chiswick County School.
Yeah, I just think of scouts here as being done through churches.
Yeah, well, they were done through churches in England as well,
Yeah.
but they were also done through schools.
Right.
And like the scoutmaster was Drip Drury was what did he teach? English, I think.
Right.
And Frank Horn, the assistant scoutmaster, was a PE instructor.
Oh, okay. So now, is this school Church of England, or is this school?
Yeah, but it's not.
Not even.
No,
as
it's
much as
just
the
a
last
grammar
one.
school. Just a grammar
So
school.
you don't really have to do religion anymore.
No, well, yeah, once a week, every Friday.
Still, but no Reverend. What's his name?
No, you had a Wade.
Reverend
No,
Wade.
you had this school on Fridays. You had one period of RI, religious instruction,
Right.
and we had assembly every day, and there was prayers, and you sang, and all that kind of nonsense,
Right.
and that was every day.
Right, but that's all at this point in time. That's pretty normal in all schools in England.
Oh
right?
yeah.
This is not like
Oh, no.
you're going to a holy.
Oh
Roman
no,
school.
no! This
Catholic
is
school
no,
or
this is
something crazy.
absolutely.
Everybody does.
Absolutely
this. It's just
standard. It
normal
doesn't matter
stuff.
what school you at. There's morning assembly. There's prayers. You say the Lord's Prayer. There's a reading from the Bible. A passage. That's every damn school did it.
Right.
That was it.
Right,
Yeah.
like we play the national anthem.
Yeah. So anyhow, I was in the Scouts and the Scout hut. We had our own hut, which was kind of convenient, and we had a boat, the Chaffinch.
But you didn't have a river or water.
Thames, we're right by it's Chiswick
Ah,
on
okay.
Thames.
Okay.
Oh,
So you
no.
did have water, so you could be Sea Scouts then. I thought
Yeah,
you
but
said
it wasn't the
landlocked.
sea. It wasn't the sea. It was the
Right,
river.
River Scouts.
Yeah. No. I mean, we had.
So you
we
had
had
water. You could get the boats in.
oh yeah.
Right.
We had the Chaffinch was a sailboat.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it
With
wasn't even a paddle. It wasn't even a paddling boat. It was
No, we sailed it.
Oh wow.
But it was an open sailboat. I mean,
Yeah.
bigger than a rowing boat, but like a big open boat.
Right.
Yeah, we sailed it on the Thames, and we built kayaks.
Right. Two-man kayak?
Two-man kayaks built, Blandford
Wood
kayaks, wood and canvas.
Wow.
Yeah,
The early days of paddling, before the Canadian canoe.
yeah, right. Yeah, actually, and I would sometimes think they may have been faster than those kayaks.
I think kayaks are because you could paddle on both sides.
Yeah, well, that's right. You got a double paddle, and they're pretty light, and they're really low. Yeah. Yeah, so we built kayaks, and I have actually kayaked right up to what they used to call the Port of London, which is what
Oh wow.
before, now there's a Thames barrier,
Yeah.
with all that. Well, before then,
Yeah.
the boats went right up into the Port of
So
London.
you could actually paddle right into the.
And I've been as you go along there, there's these huge sort of portcullises, and with a kayak you can go under and right up into God knows where. Oh yeah, really cool. I mean, when I think back, it's
Probably
bloody
pretty
dangerous as
dangerous.
hell. I'm sure illegal, but
you're
who
invisible, too.
the hell's going to know? You're in
Yeah.
this silly little splinter, and nobody'd ever see you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
It's like the escape days in Oracle or whatever. Those
Yeah,
con-
no,
those
exactly.
conch type
Yeah,
things.
yeah. Oh no, they were very cool.
That's funny. All right, so Tunbridge Wells.
Oh well, that's Johnny Baker, our PL, the patrol leader,
Right.
had relatives at Tunbridge Wells that owned land. They owned a farm, and
Okay.
every Easter holiday we would go camping there.
Ah,
We used to go camping a lot
right.
because in England there are like official scout campsites where only scouts can camp,
Ah,
nobody else.
really? And
Yeah.
it's Crown land? Or,
No, it's owned by.
So it's owned by some farmer.
No, it's owned by some scout organisation, the Scouts of
Really?
England or somewhere. Yeah. Like we used to go. Well, we'd go to Tunbridge Wells because that was Johnny Baker's relatives, so we could
Right.
go down there and fun around. Yeah, and then we used to go to a place called Chalfont St Giles quite a lot, and that was an official
Scout camp.
sort of scout camp. I don't know, Scouts of England or British. I don't know, whatever the hell it was
So
called.
when you're off camping in Tunbridge Wells, is this a scout camp? Or is
No,
this
this was
just
we
being
camped
a
on
base?
his relative's land.
No, you still got your camp. What type of tent are you using now? Typical scout tent?
no.
Or?
No,
No.
a little tiny, two-man,
tent sort of thing.
two-man thing. Yeah, I'm trying to think what the hell they were called.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a two-man,
Right.
hiking tent, and we used to go hiking.
Right.
And part of your first class badge would you had to hike for a day and camp overnight and then hike back and then write a log about it.
Oh, right. Right.
And you had to organise it all yourself
Oh, okay. Okay.
and do it.
Right. Right.
So yeah, it's quite good. I used to like the Scouts actually. It was fun.
So did you do that for like your whole high school career?
Yeah. Yeah, I was in the
So
Scout.
after
Yeah.
you did Hastings Boy Club,
Yeah.
you got a flavour for the
Camping.
camp
Yeah,
clubs
and so
and
it's
the club thing.
well, yeah,
Or
it
being a
wasn't so
part of
much.
a group.
Yeah, I suppose it was part of the group, but it was also I liked the camping. Like I used to
Yeah.
like the camping,
Yeah.
and it was like obviously fairly cheap. Like I mean, I'm sure my parents had like I don't know
Pay
if it was
something.
a fee to the campsite or something, but I mean whatever it was like really cheap,
Yeah.
and they were really good campsites.
Did your brother ever get anything to that?
Yes,
Did
he
Rob
was in the
join
Scouts.
the
I think he was in the Scouts.
Sea Scouts?
Yeah, actually, I'm not sure he was.
Right.
Yeah, like we had a sort of choice. You could do nothing, but we could join the Scouts or we could join what they call the CCF, which was the Combined Cadet Force.
Oh, that's the sort of ROTC.
The Army and
military.
military stuff, and I was not at all interested in that.
Right.
And this, I much prefer the Scouts, even though I was in a Sea Scout.
Yeah.
Theoretically, I'd like in the Navy.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But yeah, no, Scouts was really good. It was brilliant. It was really cool. And every summer we'd have we'd have 6 weeks holiday in the summer, like from school,
Right.
and it was always the first 2 weeks was Scout camp.
Right.
And we'd go all over the place.
Right.
Sometimes with other troops, and sometimes like jamborees. They call these jamborees, which was where a whole load of troops would all camp together and
Yeah.
file around doing stuff. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So Chiswick Outdoor Pool.
Yeah, well, my memories of that was, okay, Easter holidays are in April.
Yeah, not a good time to go swimming
You
outside.
go swimming when you go back to school after the Easter
An
holidays.
outdoor pool.
Outdoor pool, changing rooms all around the pool, unheated. Really cold, and no choice.
Right. Yeah. No accommodations for those weak at heart.
No.
Right. So yeah, you could swim, but that was not fun.
No.
Isleworth Penguins.
And I was in a swimming club. I used to race for the Penguins, and Isleworth Baths. There was a baths, and their club was called the Isleworth Penguins, and I used to swim for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Was that like? I mean, were you into gym at school?
No, I don't know why I swam for. I mean, I was a good swimmer,
Right.
so I swam
So you
for them.
swam.
Right? Yeah, I mean, I never swam for the school. I don't know. Well, I do know why. I mean, I didn't really. I had a. Well, you'll get to it in a minute. Or have you got to the 1M, 1D,
We're coming to
1A?
that. We're coming to
Okay.
that.
Well, yeah. No, I mean, I never.
School wasn't a favorite place of yours.
School? No.
Yeah.
No.
So doing something for the school
Was
not
the last
high on
thing I
your
was
list
going
of
to do.
stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the Scouts,
Yeah.
but I wasn't particularly interested in swimming for the school
Right.
or playing rugby for the school or any of
Right.
that kind of
And
thing.
that was the sort of difference between your brother and you.
Yeah,
because
Rob would do all
really
that shit,
did
and he did.
Sports stuff.
Oh, yeah, he was really...
And team oriented.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he was sort of... I mean, arguably, I think I could have been a better sportsman than him.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't interested.
Yeah.
He was interested, but he wasn't sort of
great.
like the star of the rugby team
Sure.
or anything. He was, but I mean, I'm
showed
sure
up every Sunday.
he showed up and he did whatever he did properly and well, kind of thing. But he wasn't like a superstar,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's tackle it. IM, or is that 1M?
1M. Okay.
1M, 2C, 3T, 4T, 5T, 5X.
All right. Okay. So you go to school. You're in the first form.
Okay.
Because I came from Twickenham, there was Twickenham, Brentford, and Chiswick were the main sort of sort of catchment areas.
Right.
All right. Twickenham was 1M, Chiswick was 1K, and Brentford was 1D. Okay, so there's 3 forms in every year.
Okay.
So I was in 1M because I was from Twickenham.
Right.
I couldn't stand it. I wasn't interested in it, and I didn't do well at all.
Right.
So the next year, there's 2A, B, and C. I'm in 2C,
Right.
the lowest of the low.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Because now it's being sorted not by your location,
no,
but by your grades.
that's right. So I'm in 2C. So fine, 2C is the idiot, the dumb
stream
kids,
of-
right? Yeah,
People
yeah.
who are not highly motivated. in
Yeah,
school.
right. Whereas Rob was in 2A when he was in. Yeah, okay. So that was fine. Then you get to the third form,
T, it's a long way away from A.
technical.
Okay.
So
Now you're really being streamed.
yeah,
It's interesting.
interesting. So that's why I say it wasn't just academic. So technical meant that I did metalwork,
Right.
woodwork,
Yeah.
technical drawing.
Yeah.
I didn't do
Drafting.
history and I didn't do French. No, I didn't do history and I didn't do art. I had to give up art, which was a bummer. But
Yeah.
what do you do? Anyhow.
Well, you didn't have a choice, right?
Yeah, I could have stayed in 3C.
Oh, you could have. Okay.
Yeah, but I went to 3T.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you did all these technical subjects,
Right.
which actually I was okay. I mean,
Yeah.
that was fine.
Did you get to do printing and stuff like that?
No, it was only sort of, woodwork, as I say, woodwork, metalwork, technical drawing.
Right.
That was it,
Okay.
which was fine.
So that sounds like you were in that stream for 4 and 5 too.
Yeah, and then I did 2 years in the fifth form.
Right.
So I was in 5X.
And X is just for
Extra. Yeah. So I was in 5X. Because what you do in the fifth form, you take your GCEs, which are
Right.
the sort of grade 13 thing.
Sure. And that's a test.
A pardon?
That's a test.
And that's countrywide.
Right.
Like that's one of those things. It's a
Right.
national sort of measurement. And I got, the first year I got, I think 2 subjects.
Mm.
And that's sort of useless basically. And the second year I did it, I got another 3. Well, 5 GCs is sort of
Good
reasonable.
Right.
It's not bad.
Right.
But I was seriously having discipline problems at that point. I was threatened. They caught me at the swimming pool one day when I was supposed to be at school, and I was absent.
Right.
I was
truancy
skipping
and
off,
stuff like
and
that.
doing shit like that, and sort of not exactly a brilliant student,
Right.
But I didn't like it,
Yeah.
and so that was it,
Right.
Um,
But you stayed on and got your 5.
but I stayed on and got the 5 GCEs,
Right.
which is sort of reasonable. I mean, what have I got? French, English, metalwork, technical drawing,
Right.
and I can't remember what the 5th one is.
Right.
Something else.
So you could get O levels in technical
Anything.
subjects.
Oh yeah, get it in it. Oh yeah, anything. So it's like grade 13.
Yeah.
But you get it in like any subject, even
And
religious.
O
thing.
levels is what you need to go to college.
No, O levels. Then to go to university you need A level. You have to do another 2 years to do your A levels.
Ah, okay. So when you left school,
Yeah,
how old were you?
17.
Wow. Okay. So if you were to go on to get your A levels,
Another 2 years.
technically, but you wouldn't have.
I mean, I was
done
17 in
you
August. Remember, so I was 16.
Yeah,
Kind of.
and you did 2 levels of grade 5 or
Yeah.
5th year. So if you were to get your A levels, most people would just do 5th, their GCEs. in
Upper
one year.
6th and lower 6th. Lower 6th is you do 2 years in the 6th form.
Right.
and then you've got your A levels. And if you're really smart, you have S levels, scholarship levels, which I think is what Rob's got.
Oh, okay.
Like, but you do it all at the same time.
Right.
You just take it up. It's a higher level. Yeah.
It's interesting. Confusing, but interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jeff Bouch.
Bouch.
Johnny
Johnny Coates.
Coates.
Well, these were my mates in the last year of school.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've never touched base with them since?
Oh God, no! I've lost touch with them totally.
Yeah. And they were of the same ilk.
Yeah.
Slightly.
They were in tea, but like they weren't stupid. They just didn't want to do all that other shit.
Yeah.
You know.
Entrepreneurs, one might say.
Yeah. I think they've all done quite well.
Probably,
yeah, strangely enough. Yeah.
Okay, I think Grandad B, you've sort of spoken a lot about him.
Yeah.
Holland on Sea, I think.
Well, my granddad had then retired.
Okay.
So I used to go there as a break from the family and all that on my own for holidays when I was at that age.
This is where you developed a close
I was quite
relationship
friendly with Auntie Joan.
Yeah.
I'd see Auntie Joan. I'd see my granddad, and my granddad and I, he would always have a stroll up to what they called the Haven, which was a name of a house along the front at the top of the cliffs, and we would walk, and that's when he would tell me stories of bus drivers attacking him with tire irons and all sorts of weird cab stories. Yeah, so I was quite friendly with him.
And he had a soft spot for you.
Yeah, we got on well.
So you would go there and stay there for the weekend?
Yeah, I'd just get the coach up.
Yeah.
Get the coach, go up for the weekend.
Nanny still have a good relationship with him?
Yeah, she got on with him okay. Oh, yeah.
All right. So Carisbrook.
Oh, I also, when I was 13, I started working on my grandfather's nursery, my other grandfather's nursery.
Grandad Mayer.
Yeah, Grandad Mayer. I worked on his nursery for $1 and $3 an hour.
$1 and $3 an hour.
It's 15 cents.
Yeah, wow. So that was nothing back then even.
Wasn't a great amount, no, but it was okay.
The family rate.
Well, no, it was you didn't get. It was labouring,
I'm sure it was hard work, but if he's paying a labourer, he's probably paying them more than what he's paying you.
Yeah, but not much more.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I don't know, but he wasn't exactly, and he didn't favour me.
Right.
You had to
work just like the rest of
my job was basically. He had 5 greenhouses, all of which were heated by furnaces with coke, which is like a form of coal kind of thing. Yeah. And my job with a guy called David Harris, and David Harris's mum was my grandmother's helper because my grandmother was deaf. My grandmother Mayer was stone deaf. Okay. And she had a sort of servant, a lady who did.
Listened for her.
Yeah. For an ex-parlour maid.
Wow.
She was doing okay. Yeah. Anyhow, his mum used to work for my gran, and David and I used to work on Saturday mornings. Okay. And so throughout the week, all the ashes and everything from thing were just they're in a pit, okay? There's a pit, and then there's the furnace. It's outside, okay? Right. And the pit has the coal that has to go on the furnace, and then all the ashes that come out of the furnace. Well, our job on a Saturday was to take all the ashes and we spread them on the road, Oak Avenue. It was a dirt road, and so we'd spread them on the road, okay, filling all the puddles.
Right.
Okay. And
get rid of the ash.
And get rid of the ashes. Well, very ecological. We were ahead of our time. Yeah. So we got rid of all the ashes. And then we had to fill up each sort of furnace with enough coke for the week.
Wow.
It took 5 hours. Wow. On a Saturday morning. I worked 8 till 1.
But you could fill up the furnace for a week in one day.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well,
That's just how it worked, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that does sound a bit weird. Actually, well, maybe it wasn't for maybe somebody else had. But anyhow, we had to.
You got at least enough coke there that
for the the weekend or something or whatever it was, and maybe somebody else had to do it. I can't remember, but there's a hell of a lot of ash.
Wow.
And we'd have to wheel it out and dump it
and
on.
I guess the coke or the coal would be delivered by some.
Oh yeah,
guy,
there was a massive kind of coke
and
thing.
It would come into a
Oh
chute
yeah,
and all that
oh
sort of
yeah,
stuff.
just a big heap.
Right.
Like, but I mean a heap.
Yeah,
Not as high as this house, but as big as like as much space as your garage, probably.
Yeah, huge.
Oh yeah, massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, we had to do that, and that was.
You don't think about central heat and how much
No.
how much easier
Click.
it is. That stuff.
Click.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were heated by steam. I mean, yeah, but I mean, it was cold,
Yeah.
but it was
Wasn't
like
smoke.
hot water. I guess
Yeah.
I can't.
Well,
It's a boiler, you know,
it
and
has
it.
to be humid too.
Yeah. I mean, you can't have it too dry. And then there was these in the greenhouse. There was these huge pipes, like up in the air, you know, hanging
that
from the
spray.
roof, kind of thing. No, there's nothing. But that's how it heated.
Right.
They just got hot,
Right.
and it heated the place.
So, and your granddad owned the
Yeah.
nursery.
Yeah,
That must have been a pretty big thing at the time too.
but
Right?
he made a lot of money.
Did it?
a lot of
And
money.
did he have to make the greenhouse? Or like,
He built them. Yeah, my dad helped him build them.
wow. Huh. Yeah, you're right. Like, there's a whole pile of stuff that those skills don't exist anymore,
no.
and they certainly wouldn't exist on the scale. that
No, I
they-
mean this
they
was
did back
like
then.
the greenhouse was probably as long as your house.
Right. So maybe 60, 80 feet long.
Yeah.
Wow.
And no, they're only one. I mean,
Yeah, one
you know,
story high,
they're
yeah.
not. It's just a glass
10
kind of
feet or
thing, you
whatever.
know. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. And this was This was after the war. This is after he came back from the war.
After he came, well, my granddad's mystery is he went to the First World War,
Yeah.
and at that point he was working in a place called Gosford Bank, and he was doing tulips. It's like the fens they're like Holland,
Right.
and they grow tulips there.
Right.
And he was growing tulips up there and working for this bloke, Mr. Cook, and you get a house. Like with those jobs, you got a house,
Right.
because like you're there 24/7.
Yeah. They want you on the property.
Yeah. So you work there, and that's what Grandad was doing there. So he then went to the war. This is the mystery, okay? So he goes to the war.
Right.
He's 34 years old, and he has 4 children. And there's no welfare state.
So he leaves his
Wife with 4 young
kids.
children.
Wow.
Like when he went 1918, my dad was 7. That's the end of the war. My dad was born in 1911.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, you've got to realise patriotism was different in those days. You know, you went out for God and the Queen and you went and did your thing, you know, like it was weird.
Yeah.
But it does seem strange, okay? It's really odd. And anyhow, so he's doing that job, and then mysteriously he acquires enough money to buy a nursery in Hampton. Now Hampton is sort of quite a nice place, and it's not, I mean it's not, I'm trying to think where it would be like around here, it's hard to know.
Right.
Sort of Brampton or something, you know, but sort of reason, you know, it's not some slum,
Yeah.
and obviously it's got land. He bought 4 acres of land,
Wow.
which is a fair chunk of land, and a house.
Right.
And then he built all these bloody greenhouses. Well, nobody knows where the money came from. And when he decided to do this, my dad was 18. Okay, so this was in 1929, around the 1930s, okay. My dad was in an apprenticeship scheme.
Right.
My Uncle Jack, who's older than my dad, was working with accountants to become an accountant.
Okay.
And my granddad said, I've bought this nursery, you have to come and work here. No choice.
Wow. I hope they were making more than 1 and 3 an hour.
I doubt they earned anything.
Right, because they were working for Dad.
Yeah. And nobody knows where Grandad got the money from. Now Richard, my cousin, thinks he got it from his commanding officer
Oh, okay.
in the army,
Right.
but we don't know. It's a mystery. So that's rather odd.
Wow. No
Yeah.
space on the memory card. We have to stop for now.
So, yeah, it's weird. So how did we get onto that from
Oh, because we just kept rambling.
the nursery? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then in the Second World War, because in the Second World War, it was, you were commandeered, like, you've got to grow food.
Right.
Well, you had to grow food, but yeah, and the government would pay X number of pennies or shillings for whatever. Well, because my granddad was really good at growing stuff, he made a lot of money.
Off the country.
Yeah.
Just growing rations.
Well, he could just grow, he was
Broccoli,
efficient,
whatever.
he knew how to grow things.
Yeah.
And he was good at it, and it was like a penny a head or whatever the hell it was. Well,
Yeah, I guess he had a guaranteed customer, right? Like,
Yeah. Oh,
when
yeah.
You're selling to market,
Oh, yeah.
you don't sell everything. But
No.
if you're selling to the government, you sell every
They buy
single
everything
thing
you can grow, mate. So he did very, very well.
Oh.
Anyhow, so after a certain period, like about 2 or 3 years, I think, my dad went back and he finished his apprenticeship.
Oh, okay. And so he finally did. That's how he got into being an engineer.
Yeah, well, that's what he started being an
Yeah.
engineer.
Yeah.
And then he had this sort of interim thing to help his dad.
Huh. It's interesting now, knowing the granddad later on in life did spend a lot of time growing flowers too.
Oh yeah,
Like, he
granddad.
resented it.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
He
oh
might
no.
have at the time.
Yeah, I don't know, but he just,
But he
it
was-
was
he
the
was
way,
a real- he
it's
was-
like the patriotism thing. That's what you did. Like the
Yeah.
family needs
Yeah,
you
yeah.
to do whatever it is. You might not have thought it wasn't your original plan, but, c'est comme ça, you do it. And so we did it. And Richard still can't find out where Grandad got the money from.
Well,
Nobody knows.
just one of those mysteries.
Yeah. Anyhow, but Grandad, my dad went back and finished his apprenticeship, whereas my Uncle Jack never went back to accounting. He stayed in the nursery game
Oh, really?
and eventually became my granddad's partner.
Right. So he inherited the
Yeah.
greenness.
Well, and then my Uncle Ernest also joined it and became part of it as well.